Because see, don't believe that your purpose or what God has called you to do is an automatic conclusion. You know, sometimes people think that. See, there's no biblical truth to what's meant to be will be. And I've heard that in church for years, you know. You know, because we even make it fancy. If God said it, I believe it, that settles it. God said it, that settles it. Well, what does that all mean? That if it's going to be this, this is it. It's not automatic. You know, if it's meant to be, it's going to be. If it wasn't meant to be, it won't. But that's not in your Bible. And see, when we have that mindset, that's how we can get deceived in some things. Here, you believe in God for something, and then it don't happen. And then you say, well, I guess it wasn't for me. And the devil then robbed you. Or on the other hand, you have some when bad things happen, well, I guess God doing that for a reason. What reason is that? See, the only thing that's guaranteed, and I think I taught this some time ago, is the plan of God. You know, the will of God, see, the plan of God is going to happen. But the will of God for your life is based on you lining your life up with his will. God's plan is going to go on with or without any of us. What am I saying? I'm part of God's plan. Yes, you know, God has a plan. I'm part of that plan. My will, his will, this, that. But if I get out of the will, it's not going to stop his plan. He'll just get somebody else. So the plan of God is guaranteed. But God's will for your life is decided by you lining up your life with his will. See, this is why belief is so important. So you see, what you believe, or even what you don't believe, can even determine life or death. See, what you believe can determine entrances and exits in your life. In other words, what comes in or what comes out of your life is decided by your beliefs. Being limited or limitless is based on your believing system. I read earlier that Mark 9:23 when Jesus said, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Now, those of you who know me, I took that verse some years ago personal. And it changed my life. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. In other words, possibilities for me is based on my capacity to believe it. Possibilities for you is based on your capacity to believe it. You see, your level of belief determines what can become possible to you. Let's go to Numbers, the 13th chapter of Numbers, and I'm going to show you a familiar passage. The 13th chapter of Numbers. And this is, we know, the time the children of Israel, they were to possess the land of Canaan. Let's just start at verse 1. 13th chapter of Numbers, verse 1 says, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. In other words, there were 12 tribes, so God is telling Moses, send out 12 leaders. And then if you look down at verse 17, it says, And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan. and said unto them, get ye up this way southward, then go up into the mountain and see the land. See what it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many. And what the land is that they dwell in, whether it is good or bad, what cities that be there that they dwell in, whether in tents or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be wood therein or not. And be ye of good courage, and bring of the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. Verse 21, so they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto the Rehob, and as men came to Hamath, and they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where Ahaman, Shazai, and Talmah, the children of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And they came unto the brook of Estrol, and cut down from thence a branch and one cluster of grapes. And they bare it between two upon us. These were some huge grapes. And they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook Estrol because of the cluster of grapes which the children of Israel cut down from thence. Then verse 25 says, and they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation, talking about the 12 leaders, and all the children of Israel unto the wilderness to Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and to all the congregation, and they showed them the fruit of the land. In other words, that's why Moses told them, listen, get this grape, cut it down, bring it, show us. You know, because sometimes you got to see to believe. Well, I take that back. You always got to see to believe. Somebody called it. I ain't talking about the natural. You got to see to believe in the spirit. I believe because I saw. You got that for free. And they told him, verse 27, and said, he came unto the land whither thou sentest up, and surely it flowed. I never can say no milk and honey. I just say silk and money. And this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites, they dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. But then Caleb stilled the people, quieted the people before Moses, and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the land of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it, it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Now, there's a lot to be said in that, but two systems is in operation. Belief and unbelief. Because in verse 30, Caleb stilled the people before and said, let us go up at once and possess it, because we are well able to overcome it. See, belief determines possibilities. And because of Caleb's and even Joshua's belief, immediate possession became possible.
Amen. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because of their belief, not next week, not next month, immediate possession became possible. Somebody missing that? We didn't say next year. We didn't say when the credit gets straight. We didn't say when the doctors, because of their belief, immediate possession became possible. Immediate possession. Somebody's still not grabbing it. See, it would have been good to say, you know, we can do this. Let's put a plan together and about a year and a half. And no. Immediate possession became possible. But now, you look at verse 31 again, but the men that went up with him. Now remember, these are leaders. You know, Joshua and Caleb were leaders, and then these were 10 other leaders. These are leaders. See, that's what I say. Don't think a title absolutely just means you know something. But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. Now, like I say, two systems going on. We saw belief. Now here, unbelief. And because of their unbelief, possession was not possible. Because of Caleb's belief, immediate possession became possible. Now with these other 10 leaders, because of their unbelief, possession was not even possible. Forget immediate, not at all. This is not possible. They all went out and saw the same thing. But see the two systems in operation. Belief, unbelief. You're going to have to turn to it, but Hebrews 3 and 19 confirms that. It says that they could not enter in because of unbelief. Unbelief. Now keep in mind what I said before. Unbelief is not non-belief. See, this is not a play with words. Unbelief is not non-belief, because non-belief doesn't exist. There's no such thing as believe nothing. Everybody is a believer. But remember what we said, unbelief is alternative belief. Caleb and Joshua believed one thing, but the others believed something else. So what am I saying? In order to say I believe this, you're also saying I don't believe that. In order for Caleb to believe we're well able to overcome, he couldn't believe that the giants or the people were stronger than they. On the same token, in order for those other 10 leaders to believe that the giants were stronger than them, they couldn't believe that they were well able to overcome them. Now, what am I saying? This might sound a little strange, but you'll get it. Belief and unbelief is a simultaneous reaction. In other words, they operate at the same time. What do you mean? How can you have belief and unbelief at the same time? See, if I believe this, I automatically don't believe that. Okay, let Let me try to simplify it. What would be an example of a this? Let's just say healing. What would be an example of a that? Let's say sickness. So now, if I believe I'm healed, I also don't believe I have to stay sick. See, it works both ways. You know, if the doctors give me a negative report, I don't believe that. Why? Because I believe this. You see, where there's belief, there also has to be unbelief. Now, on the same token, when there's unbelief, belief is also in the picture. They work at the same time. Let me strongly put it this way. If I believe God, then I don't believe the devil. So now, if I believe the word, then I don't believe the world. See, once again, we are all believers. Now, when I mean believe, I don't want nobody to run with this. I'm not saying everybody's saved. Pastor, heresy. He's saying we all, but no. We all believe something. So we're all believers. It's really just locating where your belief is. As I said, it also works in the other direction, just like those 12 leaders in Numbers. So now, if I believe the doctor's report, then I don't believe God's report. If I believe what the doctors say, then I don't believe what God says. Ouch. See, if I believe that I'll always be poor, then that means I don't believe prosperity is mine. See, we can't have one without the other. Where there's belief, there's unbelief. All at the same time. Now, I know we don't want to think like that. Well, I do. No. In order for you to believe something, you have to not believe something else. In order for you to not believe, you got to believe something else. So if I believe what the doctor is saying, I don't believe what God is saying. Now, I didn't say you wasn't saved and didn't love God. I know this got to sink in some. Yeah. See, whatever you believe is going to always reveal what you don't believe. Whatever you believe, it's going to reveal what you don't believe. So during this series of teachings, I'm going to show you how to enlarge your capacity to believe. To enlarge your capacity to believe what God said. Because the more you believe this, then the more you don't believe that. And the more you don't believe that, then the more you believe this.
Amen.
See, they work at the same time.
Amen.
Now, I know that might sound a little bit strong. You know. It's just like if somebody give a negative report and you believe God, you're like, I don't believe that. They tell you, you ain't never coming out of that. I don't believe that. Now, in order for me to not believe that, I have to believe this. Now, if God says I'm healed, then I say, I believe this. I believe this. I believe I'm healed. Now, in order for me to believe this, I don't believe I'm staying sick. So they work both together. So the more I don't believe that, then the more I believe this. And the more I believe this, then the more I don't believe that. We'll pick it up next time. God bless every heart. We'll see you this coming Wednesday for Better Life Lessons. Come on, let's give God praise.
Wasn't that an exciting word today? It was so great, and I'm so happy that I was here to hear the word. We're not out of word, but today we're out of time. On behalf of Better Life Faith Church, we would like to thank you for joining us for our live stream today.